Hello Stormguard and Hedge Fleet, welcome to another video. I know, I haven't done Death Battle Talk in a while. Now, this is a little different because I'm also in VRChat, so this is also technically my first VRChat thing on my channel. So, while I've played it in the past on stream, of course I've lost those VODs, so I can't recover those, but that doesn't mean I couldn't do this. In fact, here, you get to hear me talk about a certain thing. The Kickstarter. That's right. The Death Battle Kickstarter has 4 more days remaining, and I figured it was now probably a good time to talk about these matchups that were revealed on the Kickstarter. So, with that being said, oh, hi Bushy. So yeah, Bushy's also here with me. So we're going to be talking about the Death Battle Kickstarter and our thoughts on the matchups. So, when the Kickstarter got announced, now we're gonna get this one thing out of the way before we get into the Kickstarter matchups. Tournament of Champions winner Tomcat versus Wile E. Coyote, that is still happening. So, if you're wondering why I never got around to predicting who would win that, that's because at the time when I was getting ready to set up said prediction, Warner Brothers, the lovely chucklefucks at WB Discovery decided to shut down Rooster Teeth. Weird fucking coincidence.
We're never gonna forgive them for that because they were a legendary YouTube channel.
So yeah,
Been one for 20 years.
but that's not why we're here, even though I could go on all day about why Warner Brothers is a total bag of dicks and why they shouldn't have shut down Rooster Teeth, and you might be thinking, oh, but didn't this Vic get fired from Rooster Teeth or whatever? And it was like, I could go on all day about the problems and the upbringings of Rooster Teeth and Warner Brothers, but that's not what this video's about. So, that'll be a fucking video for probably not another day, because that would take me way too long. So, anyways, that said, Tournament Champions, Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcat is still happening. So, that's why I never got around to the prediction. It's that, and I just didn't feel like predicting would be a good time, since Death Battle was still in its upbringings. So, expect a prediction for that whenever it comes out. But that being said, now onto the announced episodes. So yes, Death Battle recently reached their Kickstarter goal, and literally, the first 2 matchups that got revealed on the Kickstarter were Bowser vs. Eggman and Omni-Man vs. Bardock. Now, granted, I love Omni-Man, but I'm not really too cracked up with him fighting Bardock, because mainly, it's like, you're just sending Bardock to his death sentence, and I know people are saying, oh, but Bardock can beat Omni-Man. I'm like, Bardock doesn't have scaling, at least I'm aware of. Bardock doesn't scale to Super Dragon Ball Heroes. That is what I'm aware of. Because, other than Xenoverse and Super Dragon Ball Heroes, if you're gonna fucking give Bardock that scaling, you only got his Dragon Ball Z special movie, and Dragon Ball Super Broly. That is it. That's the only thing you got for him. But, aside from that, I know Devil Artemis, I've seen his videos, and I know how he cooks. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Now, Bowser vs. Eggman, this has been a matchup in a long time coming. After the massive hiccup that is literally fucking Bowser vs. Ganon, which, to be real, let's be real, that is a shitty example of a boss fight gone horribly wrong, in my regard, because, let's be real, it's an outdated boss fight. At that time, Bowser didn't have Fury Bowser. Ganon didn't have Breath of the Wild. He still had Beast Ganon at that time. And then Dracula vs. Ganondorf happened, and it pleased me very well to see a true boss fight. So now we're going to actually get to see that again with Bowser vs. Eggman. Not only is it, like, another Mario vs. Sonic matchup, but this is one of the most iconic Mario and Sonic villains ever. And we get to actually see, like, the army thing, kind of like how Eggman vs. Wily did it in a while back. And somewhat briefly with, Ultron and Sigma. With the Ultron drones and the Mavericks. Or Reploids, or whatever the fuck they're called. Again, I have not played much of Mega Man X, so I don't know much of the lore. Outside of the few death battles I've seen. So, forgive me. But, anyways, with that said, before we get into the fucking kerfuckle that is the one-off being Light Yagami versus Columbo, yes, they actually are making that. I don't know how that's gonna work. Like, you had the Death Heist on the back burner, you could have easily made that. Being Light versus Walter. I mean, come on, a channel by the name of, what the fuck was it? Okay, let me make sure I move the Kickstarter real quick. And what?
You're not referring to Walter White, are you?
Yes. That Walter White. And yes, someone made a fan animation that is literally the ideal concept. Ignore that pause there. Like I said, I'm doing this in VRChat because why the fuck not? But anyways, Light versus Walter. There it is. Let's see here. I'm gonna need to mute this tab real quick. And right here, by Geno World 70, they made a fan animation of what could potentially be a cool concept. Like, in fact, I will send this to you right now, Bushy. And of course, it's featured in another video called Light Yagami vs. Walter White is the perfect matchup by Levitation, I think is what their name is. So I will leave a link to their videos in the description whenever I upload this. But here you go, Bushy. That is literally peak at its fucking finest. It's the thing that convinced me, okay, I want the Death Heist. But sadly, we're never going to get the Death Heist. We're probably not going to get the Death Heist due to the fact, well, let's just say, Liam has weird tastes in matchups. Let's say that. But as far as how I'm curious how they're going to pull Light versus Columbo out the bag, next up, we got Kratos versus Asura, which I am definitely looking forward to that. Like, it is the battle of the button bashers. Like, literally, God of War had the timed button prompts. Asura's Wrath had the timed button prompts. I want to see chaos and carnage at its finest with these two. Plus, it's been forever since we had Kratos versus Spawn, and at that time we didn't have the Norse elements of the God of War series. We still had up to the Greek era. And to be fair, I would as much as I want to see Ghost Rider versus Spawn, I already know most likely Spawn will lose. But that doesn't mean I can't cheer both characters on if they ever do that fight. But anyways, Kratos versus Asura. Who do I think I want? Who do I think I want to win? That's a tough call. While Kratos has multiple games under his belt, Asura only has one. But then again, the craziness in Asura's Wrath is ridiculous, so I don't know. I want to say Asura, but I also could be wrong and say Kratos might have this in the bag. But we'll see what happens. I'm also drinking a Sunkiss, because why the fuck not? Anyways, next up on this Kickstarter, because they've already met their goals, and yes, we get the goal, the vinyl music album, but that's not why we're here. They're also including I'm gonna need to pause this recording real quick. Sorry about that, guys. Mom had dinner prepped for me, so apologies for that little abrupt moment. So, anyways, they're also, like I was saying earlier before the abrupt pause, they announced a rematch of your choice, meaning we could possibly get Master Chief versus Doomslayer, fucking Yang versus Tifa, or the controversial Green Lantern versus Ben 10. But these are not the only episodes out of the rematch banter. We could easily get a rematch between, oh, I don't know, maybe Star Fox versus fucking Captain Bucky O'Hare or some bullshit like that, or Terminator versus Robocop. So any match that has been older in the past could potentially get an episode. Anyways, we're also going to get another Louis hand-drawn Death Battle animation, which is awesome because I've seen some of the fights in the past. He did Samurai Jack versus Afro Samurai and Scooby-Doo versus Courage the Cowardly Dog. So, I know how, and if he gets a cartoon, and if he ends up getting Coyote versus Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcat, then we know we're in for some peak at its finest, because we know how cartoon battles can get. Anyways, next up after that, we got Mahito versus Shigaraki. Jujutsu Kaisen versus My Hero Academia. Now, granted, I don't know much of Mahito, other than that he turns people into clay. And Shigaraki, this quirk, anyone he touches with his quirk turns people, decays people or some bullshit like that. Again, it's all confusing. Anyways, next up, the originally 700,000 tier, which we will get to why I am not a big fan of what they changed it to momentarily. But, regardless, Aang versus Traveler. Now, I'm kind of excited to see what they will do with the Genshin character, because it's been one of the most heavily requested things on the show for a while, ever since Genshin came out. Now, I don't know for certain much of the lore of Aether, or Lumine, depending on what version of the Traveler they're going by. I'm presuming they're going to go Aether. But other than that, all I know is from what I was told, Aang's probably going to be cooked. Due to how busted Genshin is. So, aside from that, we are definitely going to be getting the childhood pop-off episode that is Ash vs. Yugi. I grew up with Pokemon. I'm sure I watched a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Here and there. Regardless, everyone grew up with both these shows. I keep also looking in the corner that Bushy is literally in the Backrooms avatar, which I completely forgot about that. But anyways, regardless. Anyways. Oh my god. I can barely see you on the thing now. But anyways. After that, they announced that we're going to get Torian again for a 3D episode, which I'm actually curious what he's going to cook. And then, after that, Simone the Digger versus White Lantern. Now, I heard the commission track, Will of the Drill. And guess what? Will of the Drill is definitely odd-like tier. Because, to be honest, I never thought I would hear a godlike tiered commission track in ages. Plus, it's Gurren Lagann coming to Death Battle. And even if Simone the Digger loses, it'll still be a hype episode because they brought in a character from a franchise that probably people have never got to watch or witness. So, and also, we're also getting another live-action battle from Ismahawk. I'm willing to presume that they're probably going to do Captain Kirk versus Han Solo for the live-action episode, because, let's be real, doing another Marvel versus DC match would be kind of a waste of space. Despite me wanting to be curious who would win between Azazel or Azazel? I forget his fucking name from Batman Arkham Knight or Asylum or whatever. It's been ages, okay? So, leave me be. Anyway. Next up, we got the GOAT. The one that Monty Ohm requested years and years ago, way before his passing. Ruby Rose versus Maka Alburn. Granted, I love Soul Eater, I love Ruby, and with recently Ruby going under Viz Media, I'm actually curious what they will do. Finally, now that Rooster Teeth's no longer a thing, we could finally have people not trying to rig the damn thing. Alright, next up, we have, quite possibly, one of the worst things they could have placed in the slot that originally was Aang versus Aether. Hulk versus Godzilla. The worst Godzilla matchup known to man. Now, I could go on all day talking about why I don't like Godzilla versus Hulk. And yes, I watched the Cartoon Fight Club thing back in the day, and I look back at that, and that is very fucking cringe, so piss off. But anyway, even if they did their MCU and MonsterVerse counterparts and tried to make it perfect, it will still leave me unsatisfied to the point where we could have gotten better Godzilla matchups, and I'm hoping this goal does not get reached. If it does, I will be terrified for my life. But anyways, it will still leave me unsatisfied. There are so many better Godzilla matchups we could have, like Godzilla vs. EVA Unit 1, the Battle of the Godlike Creatures, and pretty much, yes, you think what? You really thought EVA Unit 1 was just a standard mech? Huh? You're thick! Because at one point, the motherfucking thing takes control from Shinji and fucking eats the living fuck out of the fucking angel and becomes a godlike entity. So yeah, I ask again, you really thought fucking EVA Unit 1 is a mech? You're thick! But anyways, and there's also Godzilla vs. King Kong, because I definitely want to see the definitive, undisputed answer of who would win between the lizard and the monkey. And not the 1962 film, not the 2021 film. I want a true, undisputed answer. And then finally, with the most recent tier, which is not even met yet, is Gru versus Megamind. Now, granted, I didn't really watch much of Despicable Me, so I don't know much about the character. Outside of him being voiced by the guy from the opposite that went, "Oh God, please, no! No! No!" Or some bullshit like that, because let's be real, I know I'm a little... blasphemy of the highest order, and Storm should be smacked with a stick, but I'm gonna be dead honest, I never watched Despicable Me.
It's Steve Carell, that's his name.
Yeah, Steve... As far as I'm aware, the only thing I know about Gru is that he's voiced by Steve Carell. As for Megamind, though...
Michael Scott.
As for Megamind, though, I've watched the first movie, fuck the second movie, and fuck the TV series. Even though I already know they're gonna be using it regardless because it's the most recent thing that came out. And on top of that, literally with the TV series, it doesn't even felt like they tried, and like it felt like they degraded the characters and the heart and soul that was Megamind.
Yes.
So yeah, literally. As for who I think would win, well, I suppose if you count the Megamind video games that literally did the plot of the Doom Syndicate originally, yes, they recycled the plot from the video games. They really need to DreamWorks needs to fucking get smacked in the head with a stick. They recycled the plot with the Doom Syndicate from the video games, since they were tying things from the first movie. And even then, those are mediocre at best. And Gru has a fuck ton of things now, including the Minions spin-offs. Like, you could do a whole dedicated episode to any of the Minions, and you would literally... It would be one of the most chaotic things you ever see on the fucking show. But regardless, if they do Gru vs. Megamind, we could see, like, a little bit of a Minion battle, like how... Possibly how Bowser vs. Eggman opens up, because I've actually seen the fucking thing. And on top of that, Eggman vs. Wily. But it's and we get to see how they use their gadgets and everything. But for honest reasons, I don't know how powerful Gru is, because I never watched Despicable Me. So, with that being said, even if they don't make the tiers for this Kickstarter, which I'll, like I said before, if I scroll the way back up, they have 4 more days. I don't know if they are that fucking mad. If the fan base is that fucking mad to get one matchup I don't care for versus an all-star lineup. Like, if they get that matchup and then they suddenly boost the Kickstarter all the way, I'll be fucking crazy, going crazy. Now, granted, if they do meet those goals and they suddenly add another Kickstarter goal, I'm going to laugh, because there's no way they'd be able to make it. So,
They only have like, what, a week left?
They only got like 4 more days left. Right, as of right now, the Kickstarter's at 689,205. They have almost about 10,000 more to go if they reach Hulk vs. Godzilla. Now, it would be funny to see them do the MCU version of Hulk and the MonsterVerse version of Godzilla, but honestly, even then, it still feels like it's an unfair matchup. Because Godzilla has his evolved form. Which even then, I recently heard, with the next MonsterVerse film, he's going to evolve again! Omni-Man versus Bardock! Granted, it's not my particular pick for an Omni-Man matchup, but goddammit, Devil Artemis knows how to cook, I'll see what the fuck he's cooking. Bowser versus Eggman! I'm definitely looking forward to that! And yes, I'm using a Reddit page for every matchup that got revealed so far, because quite frankly, I don't have the time or patience to find separate thumbnails and insert them into OBS, because that'll take me way too long. But anyways. So yeah, you got Omni-Man versus Bardock, Bowser versus Eggman, Shigaraki versus Mahito, Simone the Digger versus Kyle Rayner, Ash versus Yugi, Ruby versus Maka, Kratos versus Asura, Light versus Columbo. I still can't believe this is a fucking matchup yet. Yeah, this is a fucking fever dream at this point. And then you got the confirmed Tournament of Champions being the Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcat, which I'm actually curious what kind of crazy cartoon shenanigans they're going to unleash upon the world. Avatar versus Aether. And then you got the least wanted Hulk versus Godzilla. And then you finally got Groot versus Megamind. So, what an all-star lineup this is. Like, what an all-star lineup that this is. Now, let's just hope they meet the Kickstarter goal. If they, for me, I want it to be for Groot versus Megamind, even if I have to risk suffering with Godzilla versus Hulk. But that's fine. Because, there's like one, and I know this is like, I'm like Biffweed when it came to Hulk versus Godzilla. Like, literally, it's an all... I forgot I was... Was that the Tekken soundtrack?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't realize that had a fucking... So that's where that fucking thing came from. But anyways, yeah, I know this is a little unorganized, I know this isn't scripted, but god damn it, what an all-star lineup we got. Like, granted, I know they're gonna probably do more episodes on top of the ones that got revealed on the Kickstarter tier goals, but god damn it, I think it's safe to say Death Battle is back.
The only question is that I have regarding it, are the two OG hosts, Wiz and Boomstick, returning?
Well, yeah, since they technically own the damn thing now.
Well, praise be to highly and the descendants.
Yeah, ever since they literally decided to go independent. That's literally why I'm making this video. So, with that said though, for those who do want to support the Kickstarter, I will leave it in the description, as well as a video to the Light versus Walter video I mentioned briefly. And you'll understand why I still think I want the Death Heist, despite us getting Light versus Columbo. But yeah. So, with that said, any final thoughts on this Kickstarter? Like, are these all good matchups? Yes, aside from Hulk versus Godzilla.
One, I think.
Other than that one mediocre matchup, this is the all-star lineup that I'm definitely looking forward to. Hello everyone, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you want to support the channel, feel free to subscribe or follow the red or purple platform of your choice, and continue my ventures in the Storm Garden as well as the Hedge Fleet. Thanks again for watching. If you want to see more videos, they'll be on the left and right of me. Till then, the Captain Hedge Fleet and the Storm Garden signing out. I'll see you in the next stream / video I do. Good day, people.